You've heard about the 2004 tsunami, Hurricane Katrina, maybe even Pompeii. But history is full of disasters just as deadly and even stranger that few people talk about today. Today on the Facts Spot, we're counting down the top 10 deadliest natural disasters you've never heard of, and you won't believe some of these events changed the course of history. 10. The 1783 Laki Eruption, Iceland. This wasn't a single volcanic blast. It was a massive 8-month eruption. Laki released 120 million tons of toxic gases like sulfur dioxide, killing livestock, poisoning crops, and triggering a famine that wiped out a quarter of Iceland's population. But the disaster didn't stop there. The poisonous haze spread across Europe, causing respiratory deaths and extreme weather. Some historians even link it to the French Revolution, because failed harvests led to food shortages and unrest. 9. The 1931 China floods. Considered the deadliest flood in recorded history, the 1931 China floods combined heavy rain, snowmelt, and cyclones. The Yangtze, Yellow, and Huai rivers overflowed, flooding an area the size of modern-day England. The result? 1 to 4 million deaths from drowning, starvation, and diseases like cholera and dysentery. Entire cities were submerged, and survivors were left stranded for months, waiting for aid. If you're learning something new so far, hit that like button. It really helps us make more videos like this. 8. The 1902 La Soufrière Eruption, St. Vincent. La Soufrière erupted violently, sending red-hot pyroclastic flows racing down its slopes at hurricane speeds. Over 1,600 people were killed within minutes, and the island's crops were destroyed by heavy ashfall, leading to months of hunger and economic collapse. What makes this eruption haunting is that scientists had actually warned locals, but many ignored the danger, making this a grim lesson in disaster preparedness. 7. The 1883 Krakatoa Eruption, Indonesia. Krakatoa's eruption is legendary. The explosion was heard 3,000 miles away and produced the loudest sound in recorded history. The blast triggered massive tsunamis that destroyed over 165 coastal villages, killing over 36,000 people. The volcanic ash was so thick, it blocked sunlight worldwide, lowering global temperatures and creating blood-red sunsets seen as far away as Europe. 6. The 1935 Quetta earthquake, Pakistan. In just 30 seconds, the 7.7 magnitude quake reduced Quetta to ruins. 30,000 people were killed, many while still asleep. With limited rescue equipment and poor infrastructure, survivors waited days for help, and outbreaks of disease followed in the aftermath. This disaster led to major changes in how buildings were constructed in the region. 5. The 1970 Bhola Cyclone, Bangladesh. The Bhola Cyclone struck the densely populated Ganges Delta with winds of 185 kilometers per hour and a storm surge that swallowed entire islands. Between 300,000 and 500,000 lives were lost, making it the deadliest tropical cyclone in history. The tragedy also sparked political unrest that contributed to the Bangladesh Liberation War just months later. 4. The 1787 Calcutta Cyclone, India. This lesser-known cyclone struck Calcutta with incredible force. A massive storm surge capsized hundreds of ships in the harbor and drowned over 300,000 people. It remains one of the deadliest storms in Indian history, but is rarely talked about outside of historical records. 3. The 1920 Haiyuan earthquake, China. Measuring 8.3 on the Richter scale, the Haiyuan quake struck Gansu province, leveling entire towns. But what made it especially deadly were the landslides. Whole villages were buried alive. The death toll? Over 273,000 people. Aftershocks lasted for 3 years, keeping survivors in fear and slowing recovery efforts. 2. The 535 to 536 global volcanic event, Imagine waking up and the sun barely rises for 18 straight months. That's what historians believe happened around 535 AD, when massive volcanic eruptions threw enough ash into the atmosphere to create a volcanic winter. Temperatures dropped worldwide, crops failed, and famine spread from Europe to Asia. Some historians argue this event helped trigger the fall of empires and the start of the Dark Ages. 1. The 1815 Mount Tambora Eruption, Indonesia. Mount Tambora produced the largest volcanic eruption in human history. Over 71,000 people died, and the aftermath caused the infamous year without a summer. Snow fell in June in Europe and North America. The climate disaster led to global food shortages and even inspired cultural works, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, written during the dark, cold summer. These disasters remind us that nature's power is unstoppable, and history is full of forgotten tragedies. Tell us in the comments, which of these disasters was the most shocking to you? Smash the like button if you learned something new. Subscribe to the Facts Spot for more mind-blowing facts and countdowns every week. Thanks for watching.